Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon edition, 120th edition of the Boston Marathon. We're presented by Hyland's Leg Cramps. Stop the cramps, not your race. And NormaTec Pulse Recovery System, one of our favorite people on planet Earth, Mr. Dean Karnazes joins us. Dean, the dream, how the heck are you?
I'm great now. I'm sitting next to you.
I love it. Look at the gun show. What's going on here, baby? I love that. You've been working out.
I've been trying to stay in shape, yeah.
So last time we chatted, you were talking about, because you've run 50 marathons in 50 days in 50 states. You ran across the USA with Kelly and Regis back in the day, right? And you were talking about trying to run 208 marathons in every country in the world. What's going on with that? You're still working on it?
That's a heck of a project, yeah. So in 1 year's time, I'm trying to run a marathon in every country of the world. There's 204 now. It's kind of shrunk. The world's shrunk.
It's getting easier.
So I'm working with the State Department and the UN to get passports and permits to do all this stuff. And hopefully in 2017, next year, it's going to happen.
So it is going to happen.
I've been saying that for 4 years, so I've got sponsors coming in that have committed.
Yes.
And just trying to keep them kind of in the corral as this thing moves forward. Yeah.
So,
but I mean, logistically, Bob, think about it. I mean, all 204 countries getting passports, permits. The State Department has a list of. It's now 8 countries. They said we can't let you out of the airport. We can get you into this country, but you're gonna have to set up a treadmill and run inside the airport because we're not allowing you to leave the airport. It's too dangerous.
See, now you set up to have a treadmill sponsor that comes with you. I like that. So talk a little bit about you're running Boston tomorrow, and of course you're taking a few weeks off after that, right? No, you're heading from there to Big Sur. When did you start? When did that whole thing start? Was that just a few years ago?
Yeah, it was I had always done Boston to Big Sur back to back, and the race director for Big Sur approached me and said, "Hey, let's do a series. Let's turn this into something."
Yes.
And I said, I'm good with that. So I talked to Dave McGilvery.
Yes.
And we said, let's formalize. Let's get Runner's World involved. So there's actually, you sign up just like everything else. You got to qualify for Boston.
Right.
And there's a group. It sells out like in 5 minutes now. I think there's 500 people that let in. You get a commemorative jacket that says Boston Big Sur, a T-shirt, different medal, different race number and everything. So it's kind of celebrated in that regard.
I love that. And what are your plans for tomorrow?
Well, you know me. I mean, I don't like to take buses to the start of a running race. So I have a tradition. I get up a little bit earlier than everyone else.
Yes.
And instead of getting on a bus, I huff it out to the starting line, time it so I get there right around the gun, time gun goes off, and then I run back.
So you run yourself a quick marathon before a marathon.
A little warm-up, a little jog, yeah.
Does it turn out to be, do you run the course in reverse?
No, I run the course in reverse. Yeah, I've done it like
what a good
5
idea.
years. Yeah.
I think I'll do that tomorrow. Not.
No, it's amazing because if people are just setting up, they're getting like on their lawns. They're like, hey, you're a runner. You got a number. What are you doing? I said, I'm running out to the start. They just love it. They give me, hey, what do you want to eat? You can bring you some pancakes, whatever.
I love that. I love that. So when you first got into all of this stuff, did you have any sense of, because I know you did this just because, okay, I need a change in my life. And I'm tired of corporate America, and I'm going to get out and follow my passion and run. But who would have thought you could actually make a living doing this?
If you were to shadow me at this expo, my mind is blown every time I come to a place like this because I can't walk down the hallway without people saying, "Oh, Dean, can I take a photo?" And I'm thinking, I'm just a runner. I'm just a schlubby, just like you. And
It's a little faster, yeah. But
and go a little further, but
yeah, a little further.
I couldn't have. It's I think I'm as amazed at what I am as you are probably of what you've built. I mean, when you reflect, but you don't really think about it, right?
You just do it minute by minute. You follow your passion.
Yeah, you just every moment you get another invitation to go run in some exotic place, and
yeah.
We're both bad at saying no, so
we're really bad at saying no. Of the things you've done, the 50 marathons, 50 days, 50 states. You talked about the logistics of trying to do 204 marathons. Talk about the logistics that go into some of these things, because it's one thing to say I'm going to I'll run 50 marathons, 50 days, 50 states. You got to get to those states. You got to get your crew to those states. Then you got to get to the next state. The logistics have to be the toughest part of all this.
I like the challenge. Running and athletics are a challenge. If you go to a race, it's all set up. The course is there for you. The infrastructure's in place. I like the challenge of actually creating something as well. And I think that I've worked with some great organizations. I work with the organization that coordinates the Olympic torch run across the country.
Yes.
and had them do all the logistics. So I've outsourced a lot of this stuff. I've learned a whole lot along the way, and I really like the challenge as much as the running itself. Is just planning this whole thing and pulling it together. Yeah.
When I watched Ultramarathon, man, the thing that impressed me the most was just all the kids who would greet you along the way. And I don't know if that was a plan when you first started this thing. It's like getting from point A to point B. But I think we have this sense that kids don't like running. The kids are happier sitting inside. But you could see the joy on their faces when they were able to go out for a run.
Yeah, I always say, if you build it, they will run. I mean, we said, come run that last mile with us. We'll set up a starting point a mile away from the finish and run through the finish line with us.
Yes.
And we probably had 5,000 kids across the country come out, just spur the moment. Just
right.
Hey, I've heard about this thing. Mom and Dad, can I go?
Yes.
One of the teachers at their school might have been a runner. Hey, come on out. And it was amazing, yeah.
The other thing that when you're running across the country, all of a sudden you're at the White House running. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was a little surreal, yeah. So I got a call as I was running into Washington, D.C. From someone. She said, I work with a few people at the White House. I want to have you run by when you're passing through town. I'm like, well, who do you work with? She's like, well, there's this lady, Michelle, who wants to meet you. And I'm thinking, oh, Michelle, like, one of the chefs
Michelle
in the kitchen.
Johnson.
Yeah. She's like, no, her last name's Michelle Obama. Do you know who that is? I'm like, yes, I know who Michelle Obama is. So I'm the only guy who's ever done this. I was running past the White House. The Secret Service guys waved me over. They opened the gates. I mean, you can imagine tourists just stand there watching this guy just run in. They shut and these guys have got their submachine guns and everything. Yeah. And I run right through the White House. Like, literally, I'm running down the hall of the White House. The Secret Service guys are high-fiving me, the staff. And then they point me to the left, and I kind of hang a left, and out on the South Garden, there's Michelle Obama. Waiting. She's like, oh, Dean, here you come. I mean, it was mind-blowing, because I'd been running across the country for 65 days.
So this was part of the Regis and Kelly
Run Across America. Yeah.
And she was she knew you. She knew everything you're doing.
So my daughters and I have been watching you every day. We love Regis and Kelly. We watch you every morning. We've been tracking you. She's thanking me for coming. She's like, I'm so grateful you'd stop in and say hi to me. And I'm all sweaty. I'm looking at her going, this is not right.
Was there a moment where you realized that this is going to be bigger? Just the whole idea of running across the country, 50 marathons, 50 days, 50 states, where you realized, okay, I've touched a nerve here somehow. Because, there's been a lot of people who've been ultramarathoners. There have been a lot of people who run marathons, but very few have touched a nerve like you have. When did you realize that this is, what I'm doing is I made the right choice. This was the right move for me.
I mean, just this morning, literally, if I'd had a GoPro on, or if you had been shadowing me in the walk from my hotel to right here,
yes,
I would say no fewer than 10 people literally stopped me and said, oh, Dean, do you remember me? Or can I take a photo? I ran with you in St. Charles, and I ran in the Boulder Backroads.
Right.
Or I ran 3 marathons with you. Or, I joined you in Ohio. Like, people, because I let other
part
runners.
Of your family.
Yeah. Well, during the run, during the 50 marathons, we had permits for 50 runners to join me. So people joined me across the country. In fact, we ran the Boston Marathon in October.
Right.
And it'd never been run in the fall before. And I ran with a guy who'd run like 15 Bostons.
Yes.
He's like, this is the best Boston ever because the leaves are changing color. Boston's always on April 15th.
Right.
And he's like, we've never run it in the fall before. And Dave McGilvery set up the official Boston finish line for us. Even though we were running a recreated marathon on a Thursday in Boston,
yes,
it was just so memorable.
How have you adapted to the fact that you went from not running a lot of miles a week to running a ridiculous amount of miles a week in terms of the other things you're doing, weight training, flexibility, because you run more miles than pretty much anybody on the face of the earth.
Well, I mean,
Runners World Seminar Series
You're good.
presented by Spenco.
They're going to announce my name.
Boston
That's good.
Rule 108.
I'm not Boston legend, though.
Yeah.
So
Jack Fultz, Boston
I view myself as a complete athlete. Like, I take a very holistic view. So 360-degree approach to being an athlete, which means that my diet, my sleep, my exercise pattern, my interpersonal relationships with my family are all focused on being the best athlete that I can be. So this morning, for instance, I'm doing burpees in my hotel room. I found a little ledge I can get my fingers on. I've been doing sets of pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups. I just get up, I start exercising all day long. After this, I'll go back to my hotel, exercise a little bit.
Push-ups, sit-ups, whatever you do.
Yep, a couple burpees. Yeah, constantly throughout the day. I don't sit down. I have a stand-up office. And I'm opportunistic. If I've got an hour, I'll go for a quick run.
Right. Take advantage of whatever you have.
Yep. Yeah.
And are you still, because at one point I remember talking, you were doing like 4 hours, you've basically trained your body to live on 4 hours of sleep. Still?
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Yeah.
Wow. And you don't feel that you need more?
I don't. I feel like it's good. It's high quality sleep now. It used to be 7 to 8 hours, but some of it was kind of restless and I was stirring. Now I feel like 4 to 5 hours of really concentrated sleep. I'm good.
One of the things, I remember when you started that the Regis and Kelly run across the U.S., you were at Disneyland, and it's all pomp and circumstance. We've got all sorts of people cheering and bands playing, and then you've got to run, right? And you got to run like 75 miles. And how hard was it? Because I remember that first couple days, it was hotter than ever. Were there points where you doubted that, oh my God, maybe I got myself in over my head here?
There were a lot of low points, and I thought, yeah, and there's a lot of pressure because,
you had a bus.
I had a bus. I mean, these guys had sold 75 days of ads of them to Walgreens, to big corporate sponsors saying, you're going to have 75 days of great commercial ads of this guy running across America. And I'm thinking after 2 days, I'm going to die.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, you just do the best you can. I mean, I remember waking up every morning just going, you hurt, you can barely get to the sink in the bathroom, but just be the best you can. Just take it one step at a time. Just brush your teeth, just pull your shorts on, just pack your bag, and just one step at a time. Get that granular. Don't get ahead of yourself. But even like when I ran across America, I mean, when I got to Washington, D.C., I'll never forget. I was, here I am celebrating with Michelle Obama, and my crew's like, hey, Dean, you still got another 45 miles to run. So I remember running out of the White House. I'm 5 miles down the road, and people are honking at me. Fuck you, runner, get out of the way, throwing food at me. I'm just thinking, if you knew who I was with, where's the respect?
Don't you know who I am? The other thing is, I remember at the end of Ultra Marathon, man, you think about anybody else, they just ran across the country, 50 marathons, 50 days, 50 states. You had just run, I think you ran New York in just under 3 hours after all of that. And the next morning, you figure, okay, you're going to get on a nice 747, sit in first class and fly home. You're getting out of the hotel room, and you're running home.
No one got me a plane ticket home is the thing. We didn't have it in the budget. Like, you got to run.
But now it's not planned. So now you're leaving a hotel, and how do you even know where to go?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was unscripted. It was 2006. So I remember I'll never forget going to Paragon Sports, buying a jog stroller, a baby stroller, putting all my bags in there and just heading towards the sunset. Like literally leaving New York City, going, okay, west, California's that way, the sun's setting over there. I mean, this is pre-GPS.
Right.
And I thought, just keep going toward the sunset.
And this is November, right? It's after New York, so you're going to be hitting cold and snow and all the rest of it. What'd you get to St. Louis before you finally okay, I need to get a plane?
I crossed the Mississippi, yeah.
That was good.
I ran like 1,300 miles.
Another 1,300. Yeah. That wasn't part of the 50 marathons, 50
days.
That
was a half marathon.
You ran a half.
13,
a half a country.
13, yeah.
Dean, you are the most amazing character I've ever met in my life. I just love what you do for the sport of running. You are the best.
Well, thanks for supporting me, Bob. Yeah, come run with me one day. Well, we have many times.
We have.
We will for many years to come.
Yeah.
Too.
So to tell you what a quality guy this is, I called him up and said, hey, Dean, got this new marathon called the Catalina Eco Marathon. It'd be really fun to have you come out and, maybe if it fits into your schedule, run the marathon. He goes, well, I want to do more than that. Can't I run from your office in Solana Beach up to Long Beach and then kayak over and before the marathon? Which is exactly what you did. That was my favorite thing, is you ran like 100 miles on the Friday or the Thursday and then kayaked over with Robin Benincasa and some of the top adventure racers and then ran the marathon.
I'll tell you, after running 100 miles, I think it was 95 miles.
Yes.
Sitting in a kayak for
Smart
8 hours,
move, right?
for 8 hours with your legs like this is not good.
Well, I saw you when I went overhead in my helicopter going to the start. And
So Bob, get this. He ends up taking a helicopter because he didn't want to take a boat because he
No,
gets seasick.
I get seasick, yeah.
He's flying over us, and I'm like, I was so hungry. We were out of food, so I'm like, and I see him kind of like open the little plexiglass window, and he pushes something out the window, and it lands a few feet from me, and I row over to it, and I grab it, and it was a sugar donut, but it was coated. I tried to eat it, and it was already absorbed too much salt water.
you're welcome. Dean Karnazes has been a guest. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon edition and Legend edition with our man Dean. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.